Stop! I don't like that. All that you're doing? I don't like that. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir du Vite, and today I'd like to play a game called Mine. Horror? Romance? How about a mix of both? I wouldn't know what genre to choose. A good book should depend on the genre of the story. Since a very young age, I've always had a great interest in literature. My mother used to write at home, and I always felt drawn to the different emotions that her stories invoked in me. When I turned 18, I entered college to pursue a career in publishing. I would spend hours reading and analyzing in my room, putting in my maximum effort to obtain my degree. Although literature was my great passion, I couldn't fulfill my dream. So now, reading books is just a hobby for me.
Hi.
Hello! I observed the boy standing in front of me. How bad must his sleep hours be to have such dark circles?
My name is Keith.
Oh, hi, Keith.
I'm the librarian. With whom do I have the pleasure?
I am Espoir. It means hope in French.
Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you. How can I assist you?
I'm looking for a good book.
Great. What kind of book do you like? Personally, I enjoy horror books, but I also like romance books. Do you like romance? What are your favorite genres?
I like both, actually. I like horror that mixes romance. With a little bit of mystery in there so you can put your finger in the book and go, I knew it! I do like romance, first and foremost. He chuckles slightly. I feel a bit embarrassed about my preference. Do not feel embarrassed, Espoir.
I see. So you're a true fan of romance books.
I wouldn't say true fan, because the romance is always a bit weird.
Do you prefer old-fashioned romance or modern romance? Or do you prefer both?
There's an old-fashioned and a modern kind of... I think any type of romance is good.
Okay, then perhaps you will like this recommendation.
He takes a book from the shelf and hands it to me. I observe the cover, and it convinces me enough. I look at it again and smile. Thank you. I'll take your suggestion.
You're welcome. You can keep it. It's a gift from me.
Oh. This is quite unusual coming from an employee. If he's always giving away books, how is this bookstore going to function?
It might be strange, but I'm interested in seeing your taste in books. I can tell you're not just any person who simply buys books.
Are you sure about that?
Would you be interested in joining me for a coffee?
Oh.
My shift ends in a few minutes. You don't have to wait for me. I'll invite you.
Absolutely, Keith. I would love to. All right, let's go for a coffee then. I really have nothing else to do right now. A smile of joy forms on his lips. He seems somewhat nervous.
There's a nice cafe nearby. Let me take you there.
We arrive at a rustic and beautiful cafe, the place filled with the scent of plants and coffee, creating an aromatic and intricate combination.
What kind of coffee do you like?
Sweet. I don't know much about coffee. What's a macchiato? What's a macchiato? I don't know what a macchiato is, as long as there's tons of sugar. Is there...
I can tell it's a good coffee, but it's not my favorite. As for me, I prefer cappuccino, which is sweeter.
Oh, it is? Dang it, I want a cappuccino then. I don't know coffee. I want a cappuccino because it's sweeter.
I like it too. I enjoy how sweet cappuccino can be.
Sweet coffee. Keith walks up to the counter and orders the coffees. Then he approaches where I'm seated, holding a cup of coffee in each hand. He holds me up a cup of coffee as he sits across from me, giving me a smile and starting to sip from his own cup. What would you like to talk about? I ask as I gaze at my coffee, which is lightly decorated with a heart-shaped cream symbol. The steam from the coffee releases a delightful sweet aroma.
Tell me about yourself. What kind of hobbies do you enjoy?
I enjoy literature, as you may have already noticed.
Have you ever thought about studying anything related to it?
He smiles at me as he takes another sip of his coffee. Yes, but unfortunately, I'm not good enough.
I'm sure you are. And do you have a boyfriend?
I have several. He asks, playing with his coffee cup in his hands, seeming a bit nervous. Why would you be interested in knowing that?
Well, I'm just trying to get to know you better.
How about you tell me more about yourself instead?
What would you like to know about me? I'll tell you anything you want to know. Just ask me.
What do you enjoy doing? He lets out a sigh, staying silent for a while, as he's thinking what to respond.
I have many hobbies. My favorite pastime is writing. I enjoy writing novels. Not to brag, but I'm good at writing love stories.
Ooh.
In fact, I'm working on writing my own love story.
Oh.
It's not a real story, though. It's a story about two people who can't be together.
Aw.
That's why I enjoy writing, as I am the only one who can decide how the story ends.
Oh, that's pretty cute. Do you have any pets?
Yes, I have a cat. Her name is Kishi.
Oh.
I truly love my cat. She is the perfect pet.
Aw.
She's very affectionate and beautiful.
Sorry, I would love to see your cat.
I try to take Kishi everywhere I go.
Oh.
When I go to work, I always bring her with me.
Oh.
People seem to enjoy coming to a bookstore and finding an animal sleeping on the counter.
Bookstore cat.
She's a very adorable kitty, and I hope you get to meet her soon.
Show kitty. Why do you work at a bookstore?
Well, it's been a dream of mine since I was a child. Reading has always been a source of comfort for me. I suppose I've always loved books so much.
But why do you love books? I mean, books are pretty awesome.
I love stories. The way they can transport you to places far from reality. Books have the ability to make you laugh, cry, and teach you things. Books are like windows to the world. I hope it's not strange, but since I saw you, I had that feeling. Something I've never experienced before.
Is it me or is it getting darker? Really? Also, that's the reason why I like playing these visual novels. Just all these cool characters and all these different stories and all these different worlds I get to experience, and I get to play it for you guys watching. Why is it getting so dark outside? Really?
You know, I truly believe it. To tell you the truth, I do feel fortunate to have met you.
No.
Even though I'm a complete stranger and keep talking about things that might not interest you, you have been so kind to me. You are beautiful and intelligent. You don't have to respond to that if you don't want to.
No. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're equally kind, and I enjoy spending time with you.
It's a relief.
I glance at my wristwatch and realize that it's late. How long have we been talking?
I don't know, a few hours, I guess? Do you want to leave now?
Not really. He looks at me as if he's expecting me to say no. He gets up from his chair and puts the money for the coffees on the table.
I know a beautiful place I'd like to take you to. Would you like to sit somewhere else and admire the starry night?
Oh, is this some sort of date? The invitation sounds lovely. It's been a while since I went out to appreciate the night. He approaches me and offers his hand.
What do you say? Do you accept?
That was sick. That was cool. I like that. Oh. Okay, I'll spend more time with you. I take his hand and look into his eyes. He looks at me with surprise as a glimmer of hope grows on his face. He guides me out of the cafe. Keith wears a small smile on his face. He continues to hold my hand as we walk, looking around as if trying to find the place. The night sky is visible in all its splendor, adorned with bright stars, and the moon illuminates the street with a soft light. I can hear the occasional sound of the wind rustling and the leaves of the trees moving. I don't know why I trust Keith so much when I've just met him. I've never been so careless, being with a stranger at night and not knowing where he's taking me. A shiver runs through my body. I try to pull my hand away, but he holds it firmly, seemingly not wanting to let go. What should I do? I agreed to go out with a complete stranger. We arrive at a park with tall trees. As we venture into the park, the sounds of our footsteps blends with the rustling of branches and crunching leaves. We stop at one end of the park, where there's a bench under two trees filtering the moonlight. No one else is in the park. Fear and the cold air make me tremble involuntarily. He looks at me intently for a few seconds, smiles, and then releases my hand.
I discovered this place when I was 12 years old.
Oh,
I was going through a lot of troubles at home, and one day I escaped, trying to find silence and peace. That's when I found this place, and I realized that this lonely park is a hidden treasure.
I manage to regain my calmness as I observe the place carefully. I breathe slowly and let the beauty of the night completely envelop me. It's not as bad as it seems. Why was I so paranoid? It's clear that Keith is a good person with good intentions. I give the moment a chance and admire the night. Despite the darkness, small lights illuminate the grass and the trees. I like this place.
Wait, I want you to see something beautiful, but I need you to cover your eyes.
Come on now, Keith. We're already strangers, and you brought me to a second location. Don't push your luck. I cover my eyes, this time without fear. I hear him moving around, going back and forth. Once again, I hear his footsteps approaching me.
You can open your eyes now.
Ooh.
Watch this.
He opens his hand, releasing beautiful fireflies that illuminate our faces as we watch them. Oh. Some fireflies remain in his palms, while others start to fly. I look up at Keith's face, our eyes connecting. I can see his eyes clearly, shimmering sparks decorating his eyes as he looks at me calmly. Thank you so much for showing me this.
You don't have to thank me. Someone as special as you deserves to see things like these.
We stayed in silence. The atmosphere feels cozy and quiet. The atmosphere feels cozy and quiet, and we both knew that the silence is just to fully enjoy the present moment. Despite not wanting to leave, it's too late to stay out any longer. I should go home now. It's very late.
Sure, let me accompany you to your house.
We leave the park without saying anything, walking calmly by each other's side. Taking the chance to change my routine wasn't a bad idea after all. However, making this decision won't completely change my life, right? After a while, we arrive at the door of my house, and I stop and look at Keith. I take the keys out of my pocket and open the door to my house. I wave goodbye from inside and close the door. I enter my room and gaze at my bed, longing to sleep immediately. I lie down and let out a sigh of relief. Finally, I'm going to rest. Eh? 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 何ですか? End of day one. Well, most likely it was Keith, but I have a terrible headache, so much that I can't even open my eyes. I gather enough strength to open my eyes and finally get up. Oh! Well, this isn't my room. I feel a pressure in my chest as I look around and everything seems different. I see a large room with cement walls, a concrete floor, and a drain in one corner of the place. Did I get arrested or something? Was that knocking actually? FBI, open up! There is a small-sized mattress, a desk, and a chair. A single light bulb in the center of the room illuminates almost everything without any windows. I can't comprehend what's happening, but I can feel panic slowly taking over me. I startle as I hear some knocks on the door, and I hear his voice. Can I come in, my dear? Keith? Keith! What's going on? I remain silent, feeling like I'm losing control of my body as I see those green eyes. I watch as he enters the room and locks the door again. I try to get up from the mattress, but I'm too dizzy to do so, so I just stay seated. Oh, I'm sorry. It seems like the effects of the chloroform haven't worn off yet. Monsieur? What am I doing here? Where am I? I managed to ask with a trembling voice. This is my, special room. He speaks while still smiling, approaching me. I try to distance myself from him, but he grabs my wrist. Let me go, please. His grip is strong and firm, not allowing me to move. Oh no, my dear, I can't do that. His grip tightens slightly, almost to the point of pain. His expression turns serious, completely devoid of a smile. Why are you doing this to me? He releases a sigh and then lets go of my wrist. He remains silent for a moment, as if contemplating what to say in response. You must understand. I'm doing this for you. I care about what's best for you, and I want you to be happy. Keith, you want me to be happy? There are no books here. We were just talking about books. His expression softens again, and his hand reaches forward to gently caress my cheek, as if he wants to comfort me. Don't touch me! I scream with a breathy voice, moving my face to avoid his touch, his eyes locked onto mine. He lets out a second sigh as if trying to calm himself. He takes a step back to sit in the desk chair. I'm so sorry, my dear, he says, trying to sound as gentle as possible after I raised my voice. It seems he didn't like it. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kidnapper. Did I offend you? I don't want to be here. Please, let me go. Explain to me why you want that. I'm scared. And, as I reiterated, there are no books here. I speak, stutteringly, feeling the fear increasing with every minute. Please speak clearly. What scares you? He clenches his fists tightly, his knuckles turning white. It seems like he's trying his best effort to not raise his voice, but he appears to be extremely angry. Oh, forgive me, pardon me. I remain silent, trying to process the situation and understand what is happening. I'm being kidnapped, I whisper to myself, barely audible so Keith couldn't hear. Tears start draining down my cheeks, feeling all hope escaping from my body. Speak, before my patience runs out. He looks at me, waiting for a response. Please, don't hurt me. I manage to respond with the little strength I have left, breaking into tears. He places his hands on my shoulders. This time, I remain still. I promise you I won't hurt you. You'll always be safe with me, my dear. His voice is softer, comforting me. He smiles, gently stroking my hair and tucking it behind my ear. I love you so much. His words sound sweet due to the genuinely soft tone, but they only terrify me. You're sick! Leave me alone! I shout, filled with fear, feeling Keith getting angry at my act. He approaches quickly and grabs my arms forcefully, shaking me slightly, managing to scare me. You want solitude? Then you'll have it. No, that's not what... He leaves me and exits the room. You're doing this like I did something to you. Am I grounded? Am I being punished? What the heck, guy? You show me fireflies and then you lock me in cement. There's no books here. I start crying while hugging my legs, resting my head on my knees as I close my eyes. How could this happen to me? I keep crying, having the most terrifying thoughts I've ever had. I'm going to die here, I tell myself, accepting my fate as I break down in tears. I feel increasingly exhausted. I can feel the tears lulling me to sleep. Sir! I jump up in alarm as Keith enters the room with a tray of food in his hands. How long did I sleep for? I'm sorry, my dear. I don't know what came over me. He hands me the tray of food with a warm smile, He hands me the tray of food with a warm smile, his tone of voice turning loving again, and the anger is dissipated. As an apology, I've prepared waffles with a strawberry and blueberry smoothie. I hope you like them, and forgive me for my previous actions. Thanks. He pulls up a chair in front of the bed and sits across from me. I feel uneasy, but I start eating. He remains there, watching me, almost as if he can't take his eyes off me. I enjoy the food. It's truly delicious. I don't know how long it's been since I've eaten. The delicious sweet scent fills the entire room, and I can feel the musty smell fading away. After finishing everything on the plate, I feel satisfied. I'm glad you enjoyed what I prepared for you, my dear. I hope you're enjoying your time here. No. Books. He looks at me as if he's expecting some affirmation. I say nothing. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. All I want for you is to be happy. With me. His voice sounds so sweet as he speaks to me. It's strange to think that beneath the charming and kind exterior I initially saw, there lies a harsh and dangerous person. Are you tired? Have you been sleeping well? His demeanor continues to sound calm, as if he wants to make me feel safe. All these questions are asked with a tone of love. I want to make sure you're getting enough rest. I'm tired, I say, hoping he'll leave me alone. Okay, then I'll let you rest. His eyes glance at me for a moment before he turns around and exits the room. I lie down on the bed and cover myself. My heart rate slows down as my nerves calm down. This feels like a nightmare, a real nightmare. It'd be hilarious if it actually was. Is all of this real? Is it actually happening? I close my eyes, trying to rest, hoping that when I wake up tomorrow, everything will be a bad dream. That would be hilarious if it actually was. Like, it is actually a dream. The person that you're in love with is not a psycho. That hasn't happened yet. And I guess it's not happening now. I open my eyes slowly. I remember the previous day, then I wake up abruptly. I'm still here. Keith! The door opens and Keith enters with a serious expression. He smiles when he notices I'm awake. Good morning, dear. Did you sleep well? Yeah, I slept well. I'm glad to hear that you had a good sleep. He clears his throat before speaking, but remains silent for a few more seconds. Dear, I want you to make me a promise. I'm yours, and you're mine, right? I promise to love you always, no matter what happens, and I'll help you in whatever you need. I want you to promise me that you'll always love me. Okay. He takes my words very seriously. He looks happy after my promise, gazing at me with a sparkle in his eyes, as if he's truly in love. Dude, I talked to you for like 0.5 seconds, then you think we're a couple? I mean, that's usually how it happens with me, but dude, you're moving way too fast. I just learned your name. I'm glad to know I can trust you completely. I have breakfast ready in the living room. It's time to eat, dear. He leaves the room, leaving the door open. I hesitate as I look towards the door, unsure if I should follow him. I feel somewhat safe being trapped inside this room. I get out of bed and walk out of the room. Keith is waiting for me, seated at the table with a smile. I head to the table and sit across from Keith to keep some distance. A plate full of cinnamon rolls and cookies with chocolate chips, and a jug of orange juice. Cinnamon rolls, you say? This kidnapping might be working out in my favor. No. I made a lot just in case you were really hungry. His face glows with happiness as I serve myself. The food choices seem like something a little kid would pick. There are many sweet flavors for a first meal. Is this because I picked the sweet drink? I join him on eating, yet I continue to look at him with distrust. Even when I'm eating, my head is filled with thoughts. The food is truly delicious, I can't deny that. I wonder if Keith is the one who cooks the meals. Keith also enjoys his food, eating too quickly as if he hasn't eaten in a long time. He looks at me, his face slightly turning red when he notices me watching him. He avoids my gaze and clears his throat, trying to calm his nerves. Is there anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable? What about showing me around the place? Any weapons you might keep hidden? Any escape doors? Just in case. Right, everything must seem strange to you. Let me finish these cinnamon rolls first, sir. He gets up from his chair and walks to my side. He tries to hold my hand, but I pull away. The sensation of touching him makes me feel awkward. His gaze tightens slightly, but he seems to understand. Follow me. I'll show you the kitchen. I get up from my chair and follow Keith to a small kitchen that connects to the living room. I can see various ingredients scattered, yet the kitchen doesn't look dirty. I'll clean up here later. I tend to be a bit messy when I cook. He lets out a nervous chuckle, perhaps thinking that I'm judging him. He clears his throat and heads to another direction. I take one last glance at the kitchen and follow him. We enter a large room that smells strongly of that smells strongly of the perfume that I wear. There's a big bed with sheets and perfectly arranged pillows. There are many pictures of me on the walls that it's uncomfortable. Oh, what a terrible memory I have. Let me introduce you to Kishi. Kishi, sweetheart, come out from under the bed. After a few seconds, a black kitten emerges from under the bed. Ah, a baby! The little kitten yawns and stretches, and Keith crouches down and picks her up. Do you like cats? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. Very much so. Me too. I don't see Kishi as a pet. She's part of my family. Do you want to hold her? I approach and take the kitten in my arms. I walk over to the bed and sit down and place her on my lap. Aww. Her yellow eyes gaze up at me, curiously as she begins to sniff me. I try to stroke her, and her fur is extremely soft. The kitten seems a bit wary of my touch. After a while, she gets used to it and seems to enjoy it. I can hear her soft purring as she settles on my legs. I smile at how comfortable I feel, continuing to stroke the kitten. Keith looks up at me, and his smile grows when he sees that I'm also smiling. You're seducing me with a kitten! How dare you! How diabolic! Gull. That's amazing. She likes you. If I'm honest, it's strange that she relaxes with someone who isn't me. But I'm glad she does. Maybe it's a sign. His expression quickly changes from happy to serious and concerned. I have to go for a moment. His voice sounds a bit rough as he speaks, as if he doesn't like the idea of leaving me alone. I have to work, and I need you to stay here. I won't be long, I promise. Keith, you put the kitten on me so that I wouldn't be able to get up without disturbing the kitten, you fiend! Keith gets up and walks to the living room, and I do the same, following him. He opens the door that seems to lead outside. He gives me a forced smile before locking the door. I need to come up with a plan to escape from here. What? Kill him? Okay, maybe later. How about we run? How about we just run? It's the best thing to do. I should hurry to avoid being caught. I search for a lamp or matches in case I need them. I'm not sure how long it will take. I start searching different areas in the room. I check under the sofa, move cushions, and search through the furniture. Ooh. I only manage to find matches. It's not enough, but I suppose it'll do. I approach the principal door hesitantly and open it wide. I'm taken aback. It's unbelievable that he forgot to lock the door. He's very stupid. Oh no, Espoir, he did lock that door. Without thinking twice, I walk cautiously outside. All I can see is that I'm not near the city. There are only towering trees around me. I walk quickly, unsure of where I'm headed. I need to hurry. It's starting to get dark, and I'm grateful that I grabbed the matches. I venture deeper into the forest, feeling the adrenaline in my body. You only took matches? You didn't take anything else? Fear reflects on my face as I see a pack of wolves approaching slowly. I freeze for a moment, my breath quick and shallow. I can't believe it. Wolves? Seriously? Guys, I bet Keith hired you, didn't he? He pays you in mutton. The wolves come closer and closer. I have to escape. What? From this point on, the wolves approach every 60 seconds? You should choose the best path without rocks. Careful, and don't get caught. Wait, what? What? What are you putting me in? What? 60 seconds, what? Wait, these both have rocks. Dang it! I stumble and fall to the ground, looking back in fear. The wolves are inches away from me. My eyes widen as I see a wolf suddenly collapsing. Ah! Keith shoots the wolves, and they all start lunging at him. I hear Keith's groans, as if one of them scratched him in the abdomen. I can see blood starting to flow, but he keeps shooting. Gradually, the remaining wolves flee. My gaze meets Keith's, and his look begins to fade. I watch him faint, torn between wanting to run into the forest and staying by his side. Knowing me, I would go and help him. Ugh, curse this empathy! I can't help but feel guilty. I let out a sigh filled with frustration. Maybe this is my chance to escape. But I decide to help him. I can see the house in the distance. I grab Keith's arms and drag him in. Minutes feel like an eternity, but I finally reach the house. I desperately search Keith's pockets and find the keys. I enter the house and bring him to the living room couch. I examine the wound. Fortunately, it's not deep enough to have hit any vital organs. I search for some thread and needle to stitch his wound and stop the bleeding. I find them among with the emergency kit and do my best to treat him. My hands become covered in blood. I can feel the warm liquid staining my hands. Ooh. Might not be deep, but that got him good. Ooh. I don't know how I can show compassion, even in my situation. I should let him die, yet here I am, trying to save his life. I finish stitching him up and try to lift him to take him to his room. It's quite difficult since he's bigger than me, but I do my best. I mean, I would get him as far as the couch, stitch him up, and be like, deuces! After some minutes, I manage to reach his room and lay him down on his bed that smells like me. I lie down, exhausted beside him, my breathing heavy. I lean closer to his chest to listen if his heart is still beating. I can feel his breath and hear his slow heartbeat, but at least he's alive. That's good. What are you doing? I hear a barely audible voice, and I quickly move away. Keith looks at me, appearing extremely weak and angry. I wanted to see if you were still alive. He grabs me and pulls me into a hug. I can feel his body trembling with sadness and pain. I was so afraid of losing you forever. His eyes filled with sadness. He seems inconsolable. Are you okay? He continues to show interest and concern for my well-being, even after my attempt to escape. I'm fine, don't worry. Are you okay? I'm better now that you're here. I'm glad you're safe. I don't know what I'd do if something happened to you. You mean everything to me. I'll never be complete without you. Why did you try to escape? Is it me? Is it because you haven't forgave me yet? He sits on the bed with difficulty, so that our eyes are at the same level. You have me kidnapped. I don't know why you don't understand. He lets out a sigh as a final tear falls down his cheek. When I was a child, there was a time when my father would yell and beat my mother. I would always stay quiet, watching him mistreat my mother. One night, my father came home drunk from work. He was more violent than usual, hitting her several times. She was already weak. I was afraid that night my father would kill my mother. So I took a knife from the kitchen and stabbed him in the back repeatedly. I could see the demon in his eyes, filled with rage, but gradually I saw life leaving his body. I was protecting her. I knew someone had to do it. All I ever wanted from you was to love you and protect you. After a few seconds of silence, a loud sob is heard, and I see his body shake with sobs. I approach and hug him, trying to console him. I understand. I really do. You understand? He says, surprised, as a look of hope grows on his face while he looks into my eyes. Do you understand me? Thank you. Thank you for accepting my love and not running away. Now hold on, I never said I wasn't going to try again. Sir. He speaks softly, his tone becoming gentle and loving. Do you think you can stay with me tonight? I nod my head, then I clean the blood off their face. I need to stay with him to make sure he doesn't bleed to death. It is just for that, right? I help him lie down slowly on the bed. I also lie down, feeling calm next to him. I close my eyes. I feel him wrap his arms around me. I could remove him and distance myself from him, but I don't. I love you. It seems like he truly loves me, the way he speaks to me and holds me. There's hardly a way someone can fake a feeling like this. I slowly drift off to sleep. End of day 3. Well, at least I didn't wake up in a sewer again. I yawn and stretch. This time I feel more rested than usual. The sun rises, slowly starting to fill the room with a bright light than before. I start to wake up and look around. Keith is still asleep. I notice him next to me. The feeling made me feel comfort I've never experienced before. Maybe I should prepare something to eat to make him feel better. Or maybe you should take this opportunity to, get out. The kitchen is still messy from yesterday, so I clean everything up. It only takes me a few minutes. It's not like he made a big mess here. Finally, I can make something delicious to eat. I search for ingredients in the pantry and prepare lunch. I make pancakes and coffee. I head to the living room with breakfast, and Keith is already sitting at the table. Did I just become your wife? Dang it! I didn't hear him get up. He's very noiseless. I sit next to him to eat together. We don't talk during breakfast. He, like always, eats very quickly. And then I gotta tell him to slow down. What am I, your mom all of a sudden? He doesn't even look at me at all. This is strange. Is he mad at me? I continue eating, trying to ignore his attitude. After a while, he gets up from his chair and grabs the dishes before walking to the sink and washing them. Afterward, he approaches me. I'm off to work. This time, you won't try something crazy, right? No! No, I promise. Espoir, don't you be making promises that you can't keep. He takes a deep, relieved breath. That's good to hear. See you soon, dear. He leaves the house. There are a few things I'd like to do while I'm alone. Maybe I should read a book from Keith's shelf. He has too many. I'm here. I hear Keith's voice in the living room, and within a few seconds he comes to the room. Oh dear, I've missed you so much. I apologize for arriving late, but today's work has been very overwhelming. I touch my sleeping eyes. Reading consumed a lot of energy from me. You're sleepy? Should we sleep then? Keith makes the bed. After a while, I head to bed, hoping to rest. Do you think you could eventually love me? My eyebrows furrow as I immerse myself in my thoughts. I didn't expect that question. I mean, over time, if we can come to some kind of negotiation, there should be like a maybe in here. Yes? I would like to say yes, but I just thought about it and stayed silent. I'm really not sure. It seems like he understands. He just lies down on the bed, and I do the same. He hugs me tightly, and I can feel his heart beating. My eyes, they feel heavy, and I fall asleep. End of day 4. Good morning, dear. I'd be tired of his shenanigans by this point. I feel some kisses on my cheek. I'm still half asleep to give it importance. It's time to wake up, he says in a loving way, not being able to get enough from me. He starts to slowly brush my hair with his fingers. I open my eyes. His face lights up. His eyes are bright and full of hope. Good morning, dear. Are you sleeping well? Yes. Why did you wake up so early? I sit on the edge of the bed and yawn. I have a surprise for you. I hope you like flowers, although I think you're the most beautiful one. Oh, you. He walks outside, and I follow him. I avoid looking too much at the outside to not make me feel insecure. Keith walks to the back of the house, and I walk alongside him. I gaze at the garden behind the house, completely capturing my attention. Beautiful flowers adorn the place. Is there any specific flower you'd like to see here? Tulips. Ooh, lavenders, roses, and gardenias. I like lavenders. Lavenders is my favorite. Lavenders it is, then. A gentle smile grows on his face as he takes my hand and leads me into the garden. As we approach, I can see a variety of colors and fragrances filling the air. Do you know what they say about lavenders, my dear? They're generally known as a symbol of love and devotion. It can invoke a sense of simplicity, gentleness, and serenity. Oh. He carefully picks a bouquet of lavenders, selecting different shades and sizes, creating a beautiful arrangement. Turning to me, he presents the bouquet with a gentle expression. I feel a warmth in my heart as I accept the bouquet, appreciating the thought and effort he put into it. Thank you, Keith. It's beautiful. I'm glad you like it. This is the first time I gave flowers to someone I loved. I've never met someone like you. So wonderful, so kind as you. You're perfect. I love you, and I think you love me too. No, you're mistaken. Do you know what you are to me? You are the best thing to ever happen to me. Since the first time I saw you, I've been completely yours. There's never been anyone for me, and there never will be. Please, stop. What is it? What's wrong, my dear? You must stop. You don't love me. Why do you say that? I love you so deeply. It scares me at times. I've never felt so happy and complete. I truly and deeply love you. So much that I can't bear the thought of losing you. He says softly, smiling happily, the words leaving a heavy emotional weight on my chest. I've never felt this comfortable with anyone before. His words are so soft and gentle that I feel warm inside. What is this feeling? It's the feeling of Stockholm Syndrome, and possibly needing to GTFO. Is this true love? Is this what people call true love? Is this what I was born to feel? As we stay silent for a while, just looking at each other, He moves closer, and I can feel my heart beating fast. It's getting dark. We look up at the sky and nod. Yeah, it seems so. We've been out for a while, huh? The time flies. I laugh softly. Your contagious laughter fills me with a warm feeling of love. Seeing you full of life, and just you in general, is the best feeling in the whole world. I would give up everything I have just to see you happy. I could feel a smile spreading onto my face. His words begin to make my heart flutter, and I can feel the heat on my cheeks growing. Well, it's time we go inside and get some sleep.
Why aren't you escaping?
Surely we can work this out without kidnapping. We enter the house, and I walk towards Keith's room. He follows me inside and closes the door. I lie down on the bed, facing sideways, as he does the same. I feel so safe and protected by the gaze in his eyes. My heart starts beating faster, and my whole body trembles. I try to speak, but I remain silent, overwhelmed by the feeling of love as I get lost in his eyes. Oh. Well, sleep, kiss him, or save your game. This would be a perfect time to remind you that I have an adult Patreon where this scene and more can be seen on my adult Patreon. The room remains dark. It must still be night. I look to my side and don't find Keith. Where is my kidnapper? Could he have gotten up to do something? I get out of bed and walk calmly down the hallway. My face filled with anguish, and tears fill my eyes as I look ahead. I freeze in shock, and my heart starts beating desperately. What? Wait, what? Wait, what? What? Why? What? 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 Where'd all this blood come from? Keith? 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 I swallow hard, trying to gather the courage to speak to him. Keith? Ah! Why? 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 Keith! I run towards Keith's room, locking him alone in the living room. I quickly lock the door and lean against it. I bring my hands to my mouth in a gesture of horror. I don't even know what to think. My body feels frozen in shock and fear. I close my eyes, tears flowing down my cheeks as I think about everything that has happened. No, no, no. Wait, huh? Who? Damien. Who's Damien? Damien? Do I know a Damien? Damien can't be dead. Who is Damien? Damien? Have we met a Damien? Calm down, Espoir. You can cry later. I should look for things to help me get out of here. What? When did this become a stealth mission? Wait, what? Hide? Hold on a second. What is this? It looks like a strong box. It's locked. Maybe if I find the code, I can open it. Footsteps are approaching the room. I hide under the bed. Espoir. It's me. I have no intention of hurting you. I just want to be with you so we can talk. Dear, I know you're in shock, but trust me, you'll thank me later. You'll fall even more in love with me. Keith! I've been alright with you kidnapping me, and we even slept together. Why are you doing this, and who is Damien? Did I miss something? You don't need any friends. You have me. Open the door, dear. Open the door. Open the door. Open the fluffing door. Stop. Don't do that. I don't like that. All that you're doing? I don't like that. Espoir. Where are you, dear? It seems like he's gone. He didn't even bother to search here. I need to change my location. I can't stay in the same place. Living room? I quickly run until I reach the living room. Keith doesn't seem to be here. I start searching every surface in the kitchen, moving objects and looking behind them, but I don't find anything significant. I head to the table and begin to search meticulously on its surface. I still can't find anything. I check the shelves, quickly moving books and decorative objects. I find a small piece of paper. It has a sequence of numbers on it. 1, 4, 3. I'm gonna forget that. I wonder if it has any meaning. I move towards the dresser. I focus on the drawers of the furniture, opening and closing them. I finish by checking the last drawer. Ah! Eep! He exits his room and enters the living room. Where I am. I will find you, my dear, whether you like it or not. You can't hide forever, he said while grinning sinisterly and walking slowly in the living room. He starts to rummage through the objects while searching around the room. Dang it, where are you? Keith, quit it! Cut that out! Stop being crazy! He examines the living room before he moves away, seemingly confused. I breathe a sigh of relief. I should use the code on the safe. What safe? Where was it? Was it in Keith's room? I return to the room and start approaching the strongbox. The strongbox opens, and I can see my cell phone, a photo of myself under a key, and my perfume. I take the keys, which have a tag that says Special Room. It must be for the room where I was locked up on the first day. I grab my cell phone. I should call the police. Actually, I should save my game. No signal. There's probably better signal outside. I put the cell phone in my pocket. I take a pause, trying to control my breathing and think clearly. Perhaps Damien is in the special room. Now I just have to find the key to the main door. Kitchen? I anxiously look around. Keith doesn't seem to be here. I have to hurry. There are no knives. Keith probably hid them. I start searching every surface in the kitchen, moving objects and looking behind them. Also, now you're worried about your safety game, Espoir. You weren't worried about it before? But I don't find anything important. I continue searching, opening drawers. I look hopefully as I find a key. Ah! Eep! I hide quickly. Keith, cut that out! He pushes the door open, walking into the kitchen. Please, believe me, I can protect you. I've come very far just to be next to you, and I can do anything to stay by your side. I breathe slowly, trying to calm myself down. Dear? Why are you so scared? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because you're walking around here with your shaky eyes and jump scaring me and covered in blood, sir. Don't you know I love you with all of my heart? He walks back and forth, searching with his gaze. I'll always love you, dear. Not much time passes, and he walks away. Maybe Damien is in the special room, the only place I haven't checked yet. Eep! Oh dear, oh dear. I open the room as quickly as possible and close it again. Espoir? Damien! I have no idea who you are, but I'm so glad you're safe. Our eyes meet. Relief floods my face. Damien, I finally found you. I thought you were... I quickly approach Damien, analyzing every part of his body. Keith must have stabbed him in the arm and stomach. The wounds are deep. If I don't take him to the hospital soon, he could bleed to death. You have no idea how much I wanted to see you. I move closer to hug him, looking at him with tears in my eyes. Come on, we need to get you out of here. Can you walk? Damien nods, and I take deep breaths to calm myself. I must be very careful. I walk towards the door and lean closer to see if Keith is nearby. Eep! Not to leave. I look at Damien, putting my index finger to my lips, indicating for him to be silent. I hold my breath as the footsteps approach. You can take as much time as you need. Take as much time as you want. I'll wait. I'll wait for you, my dear. The footsteps stop in front of the door, and I can hear some murmurs behind it. Espoir will forgive me. Maybe later on, Espoir will understand and love me again. I just know it. After a few moments of silence, the footsteps recede. I approach Damien and help him up. He leans on me as we make our way to the living room, avoiding making any noise. I take the key to the living room out of my pocket and approach the door. Press it until it opens. I use the key to unlock the lock. My hands are trembling as I try, but I succeed. Okay, what are we going to do about those wolves, though? Those wolves that Keith probably paid to antagonize us. Damien holds my hand as we emerge into the dark forest. In the distance, I can see some lights, what seems to be the city. Hope shines in my eyes, hastening our pace with desperation. Espoir. I startle at the sound of my name. He stops and turns towards me.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Are you okay? All my attention was on him once I heard his question. I was confused and scared, my stomach filled with a feeling of nausea as I looked at him. I stay quiet, as the horrors of the night still haunted me. It's only now that I realize that since I found him, I haven't fully looked at him. I've been focused on escaping that I haven't had the time to think. I shake my head. Would you like to go get cheese nachos after all this mess? Like old times? I smile slightly, hugging him as I feel protected. I'll always be here for you, Espoir. He hugs me back, tighter. Comforting me was always one of his best abilities. In that instance, when I felt him hug me, I felt so much love. I looked at him with a deep connection. You better not turn into another yandere. I just escaped one. Finally, I'm safe. Good ending. You managed to escape together with another stranger that you don't know. Who is Damien? Keith! Out of curiosity, what happens if I don't hide when I hear breathing? I continue searching, deeply focused. But my search is in vain, as I find nothing. There you are. Arms wrap around me from behind, startling me. I struggle to break free from his grip. Did you think you could escape so easily, Espoir? You're mine. That's the title of this game! And no matter how much you try to run, I will always find you. He carries me to another room, locking it behind me. I find myself back in the room where I was initially held captive. Espoir? Damien? Complete stranger that I do not know? Our eyes meet, and relief floods my face. Damien, I finally found you. I thought you were... He looks at me calmly. He has always been the kind of guy who's peaceful and serene, even in the most dreadful situations. He manages to remain calm, as if everything will be all right in the end. I let out a sigh as I move closer, gripping onto him. Damien? I see Keith behind him, his hands holding a blood-covered knife. I start crying in desperation. Damien, please, stay with me. I know you are gravely wounded and the person who stabbed you is right there, but please don't die from your terrible wound. Don't worry, Espoir. Maybe in another life, we'll have a different ending together. You promised me you would stay with me. I say with a choked voice. I didn't break my promise. I told you I would come back to see you. Damien said, gently wiping my tears away. I'll always stay with you, because my heart belongs to you. Damien sighs softly, slowly closing his eyes. Keith, how could you kill the man that I don't know? Keith approaches and pulls me away from him. I stop struggling, feeling defeated. Hope slowly fades as I surrender. He sees me crying, then all of the anger he had built up disappeared. Dear, why do you have to cry? Look at you. You're so beautiful. Why do you have to taint it with your tears? He puts his hand on my cheek and caresses my face. I hate to see you cry. I feel like my heart is being ripped from my chest. I know what I did was terrible, and that there is no forgiveness, but I will always wait for your forgiveness. He gently hugs me, and my body starts to shake as tears continue streaming down my face. I love you, dear. His words came out soft like a whisper. He wipes away my tears, my emotions going out of control as I continue sobbing. I look into his eyes and gently hug him tightly. Well, first I'm going to save my game. And then we're going to take that knife. Yoink! I take the knife in a quick motion and bury it deep into his abdomen. You killed my friend that I didn't recognize, that I don't know. His eyes widen in panic. I take it out and bury it again, sinking the knife deeper each time. My stomach fills with a feeling of nausea as I look at him. Oh. A tear rolls down his cheeks, then a loud sob escapes him. After a few seconds of sobbing, I hear him speak. You know, I never found meaning in my life. But when I met you, everything changed. Literally, I lived and existed for you. He says softly as his voice trembles. I knew what would happen if I took the risk of loving you, and the consequences. But I didn't regret loving you, even if it cost me my life. I love you, Espoir. He says, before closing his eyes and breathing slowly. I could see how the life slowly faded from his eyes. I check the pockets of his coat and find the keys to the main entrance. I walk to the living room and open the front door. And then get mauled by wolves. I step outside, still in shock. I pause for a moment. I turn to look at my trembling hands covered in blood. A shiver goes up my spine. I start crying in despair, still not understanding. I've lost everything. Bad ending. You are alone. Forever. With the wolves. Okay, what if I lie and say that I love him too? I say softly before my voice breaks and I begin to sob. I hear the knife Keith was holding fall to the ground. I can feel my body shaking as I cry. He hugs me even tighter while stroking my back. I can see you're scared, but there's nothing to fear. Keith starts breathing slowly, trying to calm me down. He knew I needed that. He pulls away a little, looking into my eyes, and smiles. A look of love and endearment spread through his eyes as I calm down. Are you feeling okay, dear? He says softly, then gently caresses my cheek. It's okay. You never have to be scared of me again. Well, as long as you don't do that thing where you're walking around the house and stalking me with your bright red eyes. He gives me a reassuring smile. A soft sigh escapes my lips. He made me feel loved, wanted, cared for, all the things that I could only wish for. I will never cause a scene like tonight again. I'll be more careful to take care of you and protect you. I'll do everything in my power. I promise that. He gently wraps his arms around me. In that instance, when I felt him hug me, I felt so much love. His love for me is so sweet, but it's difficult to comprehend and accept. But it's fair and right to do, so... Now, my dear, it's better if we go rest. It's better if you go take a shower, he says in a warm tone. He carries me and takes me to his room. I know it will be difficult to earn your trust again, but I'm willing to wait my whole life just to earn your love. I'm not allowing my illusion of love to cloud my judgment. Right? That's what you're doing. That's what you're totally doing, Espoir, in-game. This is what I wanted. What I've always desired. Yeah. Okay, well, all that happened. What if I go all the way back to the beginning, saying that I like action books,
Would
and,
you be interested in joining me for a coffee? My shift ends in a few minutes. You don't have to wait for me. I'll invite you.
What if I say no? What if I say no? I got stuff to do, I got places to be, I got books to read, I don't really have time, so no, maybe, well, not ew, no, but just polite no, Espoir. Ew, no. Why should I accept going out with a stranger?
I'm just trying to be nice.
Yeah, well, that got me in a position that I didn't want to be in. I'm not interested.
I'm just trying to be nice.
Oh no, he's a nice guy, run! I turn around and head home. I have no reason to stay outside. I knew it was rude of me, but I really dislike it when a stranger is overconfident with me. I've never enjoyed talking to strangers. It makes me feel uncomfortable. His eyes didn't show me that he was trustworthy, although his smile said the opposite. I can't explain it. I just felt mistrust, but at the same time, he seemed charming. I arrived home, not realizing it was already 5 p.m. I started cleaning and prepared my meal. It only took me a few hours. After eating, I made my way to my room. I laid down on my bed to read the book. Maybe it's the only worthwhile thing from that bookstore. I immersed myself in the reading. It's about a boy, apparently. A boy with crazy eyes or something. Oh, Damien, the person who got kidnapped, who I did not know. I turn on my cell phone. Damien texts me. Damien is my old friend. He was studying with me before I left the university. After finishing his studies, he moved to another city, and I stayed here. I've always been very close to him. He promised to come back and visit me when he had his vacation. Sometimes I thought he would forget me. But apparently that's not the case. Howdy, how was your day? Hi, nothing special. What about yours? Just relaxing before traveling. Traveling? Yeah, you know, I arrive in 4 days. Really? So soon? Yes. Are you happy? Of course. Without your presence in the city, my routine became more boring. Are you calling me a clown? Oh God, no. I would never. I just think that I value your friendship a lot in my life. Me too. I can't wait to be with you. I started feeling sleepy. I checked the time. It's already night. I should go to sleep once and for all. Ah! Oh no, this is not my room. What if I do not wish to hold the kitty? No, thank you. You will not seduce me with your kitty cat. What a shame. Kishi is part of my family. I would have liked for you to see her the same way. Yeah, hey, where's the cat and all this? And all that happened? What happened to the kitty? He continues to hold her, stroking her as the cat purrs. Even though I don't particularly like them, I enjoy seeing pets happy with their owners. Alright, Keith. Alright. Steve Harvey, what does the survey say? You going down, Keith? You going down? Once I find something with which to do so. I walk to the kitchen, searching for the sharpest knife. Knife?
Hi, Red? Roberto! What are you doing here? I gotta practice my stabbing. No! Please! Help!
I find a small but sharp one, enough to try to defend myself. I walk back to the living room and hide behind the door. All I can do now is wait. I have to make it, or he'll kill me. I observe my hands trembling, worried that I won't succeed. The thought of being caught fills me with terror. I try to stay calm as I wait. I hope things go well and I can escape from here. I hear footsteps approaching the front door. The door opens.
Ah!
I plunge the knife into his abdomen with force. He looks at me in shock. I feel great disgust when feeling how the knife went through each layer of skin. His eyes fill with tears as he lets out a low, agonizing scream. What have you done to me?
I stabbed you.
You have been stabbed. You've been stabbed.
His voice resonates in the room, his tone turning cold and severe. His brows furrow, and I can see his eyes dilating in pain. He removes the knife from his abdomen and applies pressure, trying to prevent further bleeding. He falls to his knees, still looking at me, revealing sadness and anguish on his face. Why did you do this to me?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because I told you no, and you still kidnapped me. You know, it's that sort of thing. Kind of get you stabbed.
Why do you want to hurt me so bad? He speaks with a broken voice and falls silent for a moment. He seems lost in his thoughts for a moment. He lifts his gaze and tears begin to fall on his face. Please, don't leave me, my dear. I love you. He looks utterly devastated, and I start to feel pity seeing him so vulnerable. I just want you to love me. I watch as he faints and collapses completely to the floor. He didn't even try to attack me back. He just gave up, overwhelmed by his pain. I want to walk away, but I remain still. I can't help but feel guilt. I let out a sigh filled with anguish. Perhaps this is my opportunity to escape. But I decided to help him. I take Keith by the arms and pull him to the sofa in the living room.
You have a bigger heart than I do in this moment, Espoir in the game.
I examine his wound. Fortunately, the knife was short enough not to hit any vital organs. I search for some thread and needle to stitch his wound and stop the bleeding. I find them along with the emergency kit and do my best to treat him. Do you think you could eventually love me? My eyebrows furrowed as I immerse myself in my thoughts. I didn't expect that question.
No. Listen. I told you no in this playthrough, and then I stabbed you, and then I refused to hold your kitty. I don't think we're gonna have much of a relationship, Keith. No.
I would like to say no, but I just thought about it and stayed silent. I'm not really sure.
No! I will go in there and I will shake you, Game Espoir. Aw, that is pretty sweet, though. And we're back into the scary bits. Keith! Ugh!
Keith?
What, something's behind me? Did something happen? Did I turn around at the right time and not get jump scared? Well, aside from some small things here and there, I think those are the only endings I'm gonna get. But that was mine. And I'd love to hear what you think about Sweet Keith in the comments. Keith, we could have worked this out. This could have ended a lot better.
But thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself. Have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.